Hello YouTube, my name is WobbleRocket, and today we are playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Let's get into it.
The Industrial Revolution ushered in a new era that threatened to transform the values of men. No longer would spirituality be their compass, but not all welcomed the change. In 1783, just as the fires of the Laki eruption had plunged all
was a real
of
thing,
Europe
by the
into
way.
an ashen darkness, a horde of demons spilled from the shadows and fell upon city after English city. It was a message. The Alchemy Guild, fearing the rise of industrialism and abandonment by their wealthy patrons, had done the unthinkable to defend their existence. Through recondite arts, the alchemists had created Shardbinders, humans transplanted with crystal that attuned them to demonic power. They sacrificed the Shardbinders, and in doing so threw the gates of the world open to demonkind. Countless innocents died, and though the Church succeeded in vanquishing the Hell's End, a steep price had already been paid and collected. As for the Shardbinders, they were presumed to have all died in the sacrificial rite. However, two survived. Gebel, a boy for whom by some miracle the rite did not prove fatal. And Miriam, a girl who spared the rite altogether on account of the strange slumber that took her just before it could begin. 10 years have passed. Mankind too soon forgets tragedy. The demons have returned, presaged by a great castle. And on this very hour, Miriam awakens. Upon learning Gebel is the architect of this new, bloodstained ritual, Miriam and the alchemist Johannes set forth for the accursed castle.
They did the thing where they said the title.
Their galleon cuts through the
Sort
water,
of.
lancing towards the inevitable.
I love that transition right there, where the camera pulls into the ship. Strike a pose.
Johannes, are you certain it was...
It was Gebel's doing, Miriam. No mistake.
It's so hard to believe. I wouldn't even be alive if not for him. He's a good soul.
I know how you feel. But the facts are apparent, and the hell he endured 10 years ago would break the best of souls. Miriam, I want you to know that I'm sorry. What my brothers subjected you to, there's no forgiving it.
It was their transgression, not yours. You always took care of us.
Obviously, not enough.
Well, let it go, Johannes. We need to focus on the task ahead. If Gebel is responsible for the summoning, then I have to stop him. I gave him my word.
It's kind of hard to take a guy named Gebel seriously as an antagonist, but...
I ought to do it. He was my best friend.
But I'm the only one who can. The shard experiments prepared me for combat. Let them amount to something. 10 whole years. What put me in that sleep?
I wish I had the answer. All I know is the spell that stopped time for you was advanced, arcane.
Couple of Benadryl works
By
for me.
observing the ebb of the magic's hold on you, I was able to predict exactly when you would wake up.
Oh, I see.
We'll make landfall soon. You should get ready. I had the chest there packed with essential equipment. Now would be a good time to put it on. Good. You're prepared. The next order of business is to...
I'll take care of it.
I like how essential equipment is a pair of shoes and a knife.
Was that a shard?
I'd forgotten the way it felt. Like uninvited claws scraping across my bones.
Such a visceral image.
The demon's power was transmuted into that shard, which forcibly bonded to the crystal embedded in your body. The strength you gain from it is undeniable, but eventually, the crystal will devour you.
I thought the procedure you discovered halted the corruption.
It did, but that doesn't guarantee you'll be safe if you start absorbing shards in massive quantities.
I know my body's limits better than anyone, and I'm going to need all the power I can get. And if I run into trouble, you can help me. You've done it before. You'll do it again.
Thanks for giving me a choice in the matter. Well, I won't let you down. Not if I can help it. Just promise you won't push yourself.
Uh-oh.
How did they get inside?
The demons from the castle must have infested the ship.
Then they can help me wake up these muscles of mine. I'll wipe the deck with them.
So fun fact about the Laika eruption that was mentioned in the introduction, that was actually a real volcanic eruption that happened in Iceland in like 1783. It was a pretty major event. There was something like 42 billion tons of lava that the mountain spewed out, and
This device responds to
it led
magic.
to I think like 50% of the livestock population of Iceland was killed, and then the resulting famine led to like a quarter of the human population of Iceland dying over the next several years. And interesting detail for American history, when Congress was ratifying the Constitution, some of the congressmen were delayed because of freezing that happened on the Chesapeake Bay. And it was the longest freeze that the Chesapeake Bay had like ever endured up to that point. Oh, I'm wrong. It was not the it was not ratifying the Constitution. It was ratifying the end of the American the American Revolution. So yeah, don't shout at me in the comments that I caught myself there. Right, Dullaham Helm. Cool. These books will be found throughout the game, the bookshelves, and typically they either give you access to a new special move that you can do with certain weapons, or they unlock some lore that you can access and read. This is a game by Koji Igarashi, who designed Castlevania Symphony of the Night and several of the Castlevania games that came after Symphony of the Night, until he was let go by Konami, which is probably the main reason that we haven't had a two-dimensional Castlevania game in a very, very, very long time. And in fact, we haven't had hardly any entries in the series, despite the success of the Netflix series. I kind of figured that we would have seen a new game release from Konami, seeing how well the TV series did. Castlevania Symphony of the Night was probably one of my favorite games as a kid. I could not tell you how many hours I sunk into that game. And then after Symphony of the Night, the series, Castlevania series, went to the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS. And there were some really great entries in those series. And in fact, the shard mechanic that is present in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is almost identical. Flashing air kick. Perform up to 3 spinning kicks by repeating the same command from Kung Fu Shoes. The shard system is almost completely identical to the soul system that is in Castlevania Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow, where you gain the ability to unlock different souls from enemies and use their abilities. I can't tell you how excited I was whenever I learned that Koji Igarashi was putting out another game, and even though it wasn't an official Castlevania game, Bloodstained plays almost exactly like some of those Castlevania side-scroller RPGs. Alright, head flail. That is going to come in really handy. So if you're not super familiar with Metroidvanias, they get their name from a combination of the Metroid series, which started on the NES, and the Castlevania series, which also started on the NES. Both of those series have a lot of elements where you frequently have a large open side-scrolling game map, and there are certain aspects of the map that you cannot access initially, and so you can see that ledge that's right up above my head. I can't get to that because I can't jump high enough, but later on in the game we'll unlock some special abilities that will allow us to access that and other secret areas. The last time that I actually played Bloodstained was not too long after release, so there's probably some content that I actually have not seen yet. The game has released several new developments. It had a very successful Kickstarter campaign, and there were a number of goals that, fundraising goals, if they were met, that certain elements would be added into the game. So I'm excited to check some of those out. I know that there's multiple other characters that you can play beyond Miriam, including Aurora, who is a guest character from another Metroidvania called Child of Light, which I have only played very, very briefly on the Nintendo Switch. I played Child of Light for about 5 minutes, and it seemed really fun, and hopefully one day I'll get a chance to revisit it. I think it is available for PC, so I may see if I can pick it up the next time that it goes on sale. Level up. Shoot up this way. So each enemy in this game has a number of different items that they can drop and shards that they can drop with a number of, you know, some of them are a lot more rare than others. They're a lot harder to find than others. So there can be a little bit of grinding in this game. Personally, I kind of like that. I really kind of enjoy the mindless nature of repetitively killing the same monsters until the item that I'm looking for finally drops. I probably won't do a whole lot of that on the YouTube videos just because, you know, I think it probably makes for a boring video to watch me kill the same monster 37 times in a row. I actually initially intended this to be a live stream instead of static YouTube videos, but it looks like my upload speed on my internet is just not good enough for streaming at this point. It's one of the pitfalls of living in rural Alabama. We don't have the greatest internet access here, although it looks like we might be getting fiber optic internet sometime soon, so hopefully that will happen, and hopefully that will be something that we can really benefit from in the future. If I can get some good fiber optic internet, then I'll definitely start doing some live streaming. Alright, so we are ready to face off against Vapor, which is the first boss of the game. It's Gebel.
So, Sleeping Beauty, you've decided to awaken.
Gebel, tell me you didn't do this. It doesn't make any sense.
How does it not? After all the sins humans wrought upon us?
Johannes told me what they did to you. And you're right, it's horrible. But what you're doing now is just as bad.
No! No, there you are very wrong. What the alchemists did was reshuffle our bodies.
Ouch.
What I intend to do is reshuffle the world. I'd say I've earned the right.
Okay, yeah, I can take him seriously.
Join me, Miriam. You're the only one who understands the pain I feel. What it's like to no longer be human.
What? I never thought I'd hear those words from you. I was the one that came to you broken, convinced I was a monster, and you told me...
This is nonsense!
You told me that our power doesn't make us good or bad. Our choices do.
Our power doesn't make us good or bad. Our choices do. Truth.
I'd given up on my humanity, but you restored my hope. Don't you remember?
Master Gebel, we must return.
Yes. Miriam, I tire of reminiscing with you. You're here to kill me, aren't you? Then first prove you can find me.
Along the way, you'll have no choice but to absorb shards and avail yourself of the powers of hell. If you can still claim to be human at the end of it all, then perhaps I might be more inclined to listen. Come, Gregory. We're leaving.
So they keep talking about shards being something that you have to be careful with because they'll corrupt your soul. I don't know if like the developers planned on putting in some sort of mechanic where the more shards you collected, the more corrupted you became, or if they planned on multiple endings that would release based on the number of shards that you collected, but there actually is no downside to collecting as many shards as you can get. Oh. I love this boss fight. I think it's one of my favorite, like, opening boss fights of any game that I've played in a long time. It's just a really great example of, dang it, see? It's just a really great example of that classic pattern learning that you had to do with a lot of boss fights. Vipar is down. Thrashing tentacle. Attack foes with one of Vipar's tentacles.
I saw it. Just a flicker. That was the Gebel I know. I will put a stop to all this.
Bloodstained.
We're here.
Was this a village? What happened to it? The demons Gebel summoned?
They've moved faster than we hoped. Miriam, we have to hurry. This was where we were supposed to meet our contact.
All right. But wait. Let me clear the area. There are still demons about.
Alright, we have just killed Vipar, the first boss of the game. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope that you will like and subscribe to the channel. I will be posting these videos just as soon as I can produce them. My name is WobbleRocket. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you'll join me for the rest of this series. See you around.